Hello, welcome to Get Your Mind On. I'm Lori Stohs. So when you get home and you go to your mailbox, what do you look for? Maybe you get to your office and you have a pile of mail sitting on your desk. And you thumb through it and you find a number of things, anything from bills to fundraising, to ads, to magazines, maybe newspapers. But once in a great while, we might have something special in there, like a handwritten note. So when was the last time that you received a handwritten note in the mail? You know, the handwriting is kind of a lost art. As a matter of fact, the United States Postal Service did a survey in 2010, and the average household received one handwritten note every 7 weeks, down from one every 2 weeks in 1987. Well, so of course, many of us go to the conclusion, definitely, that, you know, with all of our technology in our world today, email, tweeting, Facebook, we do all the Facebook messaging, that really there's online greeting cards, many types of things. The handwritten note has been kind of disappearing over time. So you might say, well, yes, it's faster, right? It's a lot faster to do it on technology. It's a lot easier. It's a lot quicker. You know what? And it saves us money because I don't have to find some note card, nice note cards. I don't have to worry about the stamp, and you know, I just do it kind of impromptu, and then, oh, I forgot it was on my counter, and then I didn't mail it. So we can come up with all types of excuses of why we don't do the handwritten notes. But let's think about the impact of a handwritten note. When you think about why do we write handwritten notes, sometimes think about yourself, the last handwritten note that you received. Did you keep it? Did you toss it? Did you look at it and wonder what this person was saying to you? Many times it's about appreciation or gratitude. That's the reason people send you a note. It might be thanking you for something. Many times people who are maybe met you and maybe sending you a note with a book, had a conversation about a book and dropped a book and a card in the mail, maybe an article or something that you talked about. So there's many ways that we can really impact people through the handwriting, the handwritten note, because many times as individuals, it really shows you that people care. So it really makes the impact of building a relationship. It makes you an impact that somebody cares about you. It makes the impact of somebody just thinking about something that's important to you. And if you're in business or building personal relationships, that's really important. We know relationships and trust drive things. And to let people know that you mean something to them, that they took the time to do that, it's very meaningful. As a matter of fact, one of my friends, him and I were talking the other day, and he was telling me last weekend, you know, it was a beautiful day here, and our politicians were canvassing the neighborhood, starting to prepare for the upcoming voting, and he mentioned someone had come to his door, you know, along with kids and everything else that was happening in the neighborhood that day. But then when he got his mail, the first of the week, he went through his mail just like I did, showing the bills and all those types of things. But to his, in his pile was a handwritten note. He opened it, and it was from that individual, the politician who had stopped by, said hello, introduced himself. He didn't know him, but they of course talked about, you know, a little bit about his position and that type of thing. But he listened and remembered what he had said. And so he took the time that weekend then to write a handwritten note to him. And so when he got that note, he said, you know, I don't know him, but, you know, I do believe in his political stand, as well as I just feel like he took the time to listen to me and wrote me a handwritten note, and how meaningful that was. So in that mind, when you think about many of the form letters that you get from people, we send lots of form letters hoping people will, you know, give you their vote. But really the effect and the impact on that isn't as great as really somebody listening and taking the time to write a handwritten note. So that gentleman's going to make lots of get lots of votes for individuals who that's meaningful for. I think the other thing that's really important is sometimes it's hard for us to say, maybe say exactly what we mean verbally, and so sometimes it's easier for some of us to write what we feel and put it in a note. So that's another reason for the handwritten note, the impact we can make. The final thing is the permanence of it. You know, when you think about going back through some of your old notes, if you're ever cleaning out your drawers or finding certain things, is when you find a note from someone in the past. I just found a note from someone who congratulated me on a job that I had gotten years ago. And it's like, wow, I still had that, and it meant something to me. So there's this permanence piece of saving them. I have a box here, and in that box I have, handwritten notes that people have given me. And it's just so nice to go back once in a while and look at them. And I think what's meaningful is a couple things. Number one is it kind of helps you think back to your successes. So sometimes if we're having a bad day, need a little pick-me-up, it's good to go back and go, wow, I had a lot of good people surrounding me and supporting me, as well as sometimes when we look back to those notes, we think, wow, we've come a long way. The other thing is, I think it's really critical. I'd found something from my mother in one of my boxes. And of course, knowing that her signature was unique to her, just like our signatures are all unique to us. And that just meant a lot. It just gave me a warm feeling when I saw her name, how she wrote Mom, and, seeing her handwriting. Some of us may say, you know what, I don't write notes because I don't like my handwriting. I don't write well. You know what, at the end of the day, it's not about the way your handwriting looks. I don't think anybody's going to say, oh, wow, I have poor penmanship. But they're going to really look at the meaning of the card that you took the time to do that. So the permanence of this, I think, is so critical. Now, can we keep our emails? We can keep our emails. We can store them, but it's usually when we're storing things on our computer, there's so many different ways to arrange things, and we get hundreds of emails and hundreds of texts every day. That's still meaningful. Don't lose the art still of sending thank yous and meaningful notes by email or text. That's better than nothing. But just really take some time to think about the permanence of a handwritten note. So for positive charge this week, I just want you to think of a couple things. One is, when was the last time you wrote a handwritten note? And two, take some time maybe this week to do that. Is just find a reason. There shouldn't be much of a finding a reason. I'm one that loves cards. I'm a card junkie. I love Crane. I love a number of my team would tell you I probably have a little too much of that. But I think it's important for you to really, I always just have a stack sitting there and little note cards just to write a few a week. And at the end of the day, a little bit of a stamp and the time it takes isn't too much, really, when you sit down and go, it's less than 5 minutes to really write a handwritten note. So the lost art of handwritten writing is something that you can really take charge of and really use every day to make a difference in your life, whether you're building a relationship or you're wanting to make an impact with someone. Thank you for joining us today, and remember to get your mind on.